You're listening to Season 6 of Three Angry Giant Fans and Jet Fan Podcast, brought to you by Rugged Uncle and Carolina Beer Temple. Join us each week as we go over news and notes of the Jets and Giants, give our pet peeves, and basically just gripe about our team's dismal performances as of late. Also go to our website, angryfootballfans.com, and download our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We have a lot of fun doing this. We enjoy all of our fans. Go Jets and go Giants.
Turning attention now to week one and the week one opponent, or are you just still practicing and worrying about yourself?
Yeah, we're focused on the things we need to do to get better, and we'll do that throughout the week.
When do you turn it then to Washington? How much have you done maybe already?
Well, our team is focused on us and trying to get better, doing the things we need to do. Coaches spend a lot of time in the off season, spend times at night here, but for us right now, it's focusing on the things we need to do.
How do you continue the ascension of a rookie quarterback when you transition to that regular season mode?
He'll be practicing and doing the things he needs to do to keep improving. And it's backup quarterback. We'll have a number of them, and we're going to continue to work with all those guys.
Will he'll be the number two, or do you?
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's Brian Dable having to answer ridiculous questions at a post, or actually a press conference, probably ushering in the new year. So he gets the question: are you preparing for week one now? Well, no shit. The preseason's over. His answer is basically like, we're preparing on making us better. Just gives that standard answer. I think the most telling thing in that segment was when they asked if Jackson Dart is the backup quarterback, and he goes, yeah, he's got a chance to be, along with other guys. I mean, do people think you're going to get nuggets of truth out of these press conferences? I never understand them.
I mean, it would have been great if he just smacked them down and was like, actually, we've got a big week 12 game that I really got to start thinking about now.
Right. Just be completely sarcastic and just give some bullshit.
Yeah. That would
just
be great.
Make the guy feel like a complete turd.
Yeah.
That's all he is a turd. I mean, are you getting ready for week one? Nah. Fuck it. We're gonna spend another week watching preseason tape. But it's fine.
It's like asking a pilot. You're taxiing out the runway. So are you getting ready to take off? And what are you?
It's the next thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the next part of the process. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
You figure too, coaches have such a demeanor where they're type A personalities. How much do you think that they hate going in front of the press and listening to some of these jabronis talk about sports to them?
Do they hate it more than the players hate training camp? What's the equation there? Where's the little greater sign symbol? I used to get that confused when I was in third grade. Is it the open side on the left side when you're greater than, or left? It was always, I couldn't ever get that correct. Yeah. Damn arrow was pointing in the wrong direction every time. I don't know.
I had mono or something when I was a kid. The week they did that. And so I got back and there was a test. And so I had no idea. I was like, yeah, just put these in. Sure. I just write them all in there. And I think they put me in remedial classes after that. I'm like, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. All you get to do is tell me. I didn't.
So they kind of despise those questions, though, as head coaches, right? I mean, it's just the most ridiculous. I just don't understand who the media. Well, that's why I hate them.
Yeah. So before we get into the recap of the last preseason games and sort of the preview of the regular season, let's give a shout out. So last week, I think we've done one other one from Rhode Island. So this is from Rhode Island too. So it's hello, Pasco, Rhode Island. It's spelled Passcoag. So it looks like Pascog, but I believe it's Pasco, like Bear Pasco, the former tight end of the Giants. It's population 4,500, and it's one of 8 villages of Burrellville. It's named after the Pasco River, which it settled on, and it was formed in the early 1700s. There's been no notable people there, but they did sue Exxon for groundwater contamination and settled for $7 million. So the town became rich because of Exxon polluting them, basically.
Excellent.
So we've had other downloads from Rhode Island before.
I think we did one other one from Rhode Island. Might
So
have been
we've
season
got like half
4.
the state. I mean, is that what we're saying?
We've covered the whole broadcast area.
Pasco near Quahog? That's the only town in Rhode Island I know.
You don't know Providence?
All right, Providence.
Side of that.
Actually, if you had to ask me to name another city in Rhode Island besides Providence, I'd be screwed.
Big in trouble.
Pasco.
Yeah.
It's a village, I believe.
Maybe that's a trivia question at the live pod next week.
There you go.
See if any test people if they would listen to the pod or not.
Reward the listeners. I
Right.
like it. I love it.
For those listening, we will be at the Carolina Beer Temple next Tuesday. So that's September 2nd.
Yes.
Yep.
And we'll be doing a live show, lots of trivia, lots of giveaways. It's going to be probably less Giants and Jets specific and more NFL specific. We're just going to be ranting about the NFL and football in general. And I think we'll get some good pet peeves in there that will be probably even non-football related. So it should be a good time. Come on out to the Carolina Beer Temple in Matthews, North Carolina. Great selection of drafts. We were just out there this Saturday to do a planning session and had a great time. All sorts of people there.
Our flyers are everywhere. They're in the bathroom. They're in the hallway. They're behind the bar. They're at the water station. They're in the game room. I mean, you can't not notice the Angry Football Fans podcast flyer when you go in there.
Yeah, I was just disappointed it wasn't right above the urinal, though. You had to kind of go off to the side. So that's the classic. That's when you know you've hit the big times. When you're at eye level at the urinal, like, man, you've hit it.
I was gonna ask them to put one there, but how does that make me sound? Would you mind if you put it above the urinal so when guys are going, they're thinking of us? Like, I couldn't bring myself to ask.
Well, if they've listened to us, if they listen to the pod, they would know that that's our brand. That's our humor.
That's true.
So
or tape it right into the back of the urinal. That's maybe more on brand.
So the last preseason games were played. Giants, Patriots. Giants again, offensive juggernauts in this game. QBs all looked good that played. Russell Wilson did not play in this game. The other 3 did. Tommy DeVito played a ton. TJ Moore, who bottom of the roster player, defensive back, he had a pick 6 earlier in the game, and then later in the game, just a gruesome injury where he actually fractured his fibia, I believe. But one of those plays, non-contact, just lands on his leg and it snaps. And I was thinking about that the other day. Like football and maybe MMA and wrestling are the only times you ever hear someone just casually talking about a leg snapping. It's like.
Now, was that during a kickoff?
It was during a special teams play. It might have been punt return, actually.
Impossible.
Yeah, right. We had to lose somebody. We were 3 minutes and 9 seconds, I think, away from getting to week 1, and we got to lose a guy who had a pick 6 earlier in the game. That's
He's been looking good. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but again, that wasn't the epitome of a meaningless game. Patriots didn't play their starters. Giants hardly played any of the starters. And I wanted to ask you guys, did you know this? Up until 1978, they played 6 preseason games.
6?
6. So the Giants, there's a famous story. It's either 71 or 72. The Giants were 6-0. And, there was all this enthusiasm about the 6-0. And I think one of the columnists at the time wrote about how the Giants at 6-0 charging into the season, we're winning the Super Bowl. And I think they went they played 14 games back then. I think they went 3-11, or it might have even been 3-10-1 in that following year.
Yeah.
So caution.
What year was it? Yeah. What year? So yeah,
I believe it was 71 or 72.
Yeah. Well, we weren't in the league in the decade of the 70s, if we recall. So we've made. So it's no wonder we had a ridiculous season. Yeah. No, I don't remember that. 6 preseason games.
6.
God, that's 6 weeks of preseason.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
I mean, would you start in May? Like what?
That's back then when you could do 3-a-day practices probably, and no one would give a shit.
They also probably didn't. Go ahead.
They had probably 14 game seasons back then. Is that right?
There's 14 games. Yeah.
Okay, but still 6.
So your preseason is almost half of the regular season.
Yeah.
God.
Now I don't. No, here's the thing. I wasn't old enough to understand, but I don't know if they were full games. I don't know if they were scrimmages. I really don't know how they were run. Were any of them televised like they are today, or were they just like? Do they even make the paper or the box score or anything? I don't know any of that.
So what you're saying is we don't really know if they did have 6 because there's no record of it.
Oh no, we know they have 6.
Oh,
So you could look back and look at the records of teams, but I just don't know if those games were full games, half games. I really don't know the process around it.
That sounds awful.
So the only thing I'll take away from I heard someone talk about. I was watching one of the shows and they were talking about Mike Kafka and saying what a great preseason he had calling plays. And I thought to myself, first off, I don't want my offensive coordinator having a great preseason calling plays. I really don't want him giving fodder to anyone about what to see in the regular season.
No, it's the last thing you want.
I'll go back to something Cardone said, I think, in the second pot of the preseason. He said the thing I'll take away from Kafka in the preseason is that the Giants are getting in and out of the huddle with purpose, and they're coming to the line and they have a rhythm. That, to me, is more important than any play calling. I think Cardone pointed that out. We look like we're organized going to the line of scrimmage. We're looking at the play and being able to call it. Whatever play is run after that in preseason, I really don't give a shit.
Well, we've been talking about their horrific tempo for years now. Whatever it was, they couldn't get in and out of the huddle, delay of games constantly. So, yeah, we noticed that right from the beginning of the preseason. Like, man, they just getting in and out of the huddle. There's a different vibe. I'm telling you guys, it's hard to be pissed right now. I was thinking about, as we're coming on tonight, I'm like, man, I'm in a good mood right now. I haven't felt like this since, going to the 23 season after we beat the Vikings in the playoffs, thinking we were going to turn things around. So it was only 2 years ago, but I don't know, man. It's there's something going on with this the Giant team right now. So who knows what's going to happen week 1? We may be pissed out of our minds, but right now, at least for a week, I'm not that pissed.
Yeah, it's the comment, what a great preseason the offensive coordinator had calling plays. I mean, that is as dumb a comment as I can imagine. I can't even let that get off my runway. That is so. I mean, if you're a smart team, you might have 9 offensive play calls in the preseason, maybe 9. And I'll tell you, it looked like it. I watched more of the preseason than I ever have because I was very interested in Dart this year. So, I watched more of the preseason than usual. And it seemed, and this is probably what the idiots watching this thinking Kafka's like calling this, like he's in the offensive lab, coming up with play calls, is they ran a lot of screen passes. And I imagine it's because they probably had 2 of them on their 12-play call sheet for the preseason. And so, whenever you trick somebody with a screen pass, now albeit the Giants haven't fooled anyone in the regular season with a screen pass since 1997. I don't think. I don't think the Giants have had a successful screen pass where the other team's just like, oh no, we didn't see that coming. I don't remember the last one of those I've actually seen. So if that's what they mean by that, fine. But yeah, guys, I mean, look, I would be a massive hypocrite to sit here and just tell you how excited I am. I preach every year on this pod. I preach all the time that this means less than nothing. And it does mean less than nothing. But there are things that had nothing to do really with the game that was being played that have me excited. And I think maybe this might be where Cardone was going. There's an energy out of the team. There's a sense that they like each other. It seems like a good locker room. When they got that pick 6 and the whole team came out, starters and everybody, just piled into the end zone. Like I knew when I was watching that, my head said, first I was like, this is awesome. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Second thing my head said was, if this were any other team, you'd be saying how gay it is. So I knew it right away. I spotted myself with it right away. But yeah, I agree that this team seems excited right now. Now there's nothing that will break that excitement quicker than 0-3, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
The sad turn of events in that game when the whole team celebrated TJ Moore's touchdown, and then moments later the guy's done for the year. You never know what's going to happen to a guy like that who's the bottom of the roster player anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we had that moment for him.
Yeah.
But you got me thinking, Mike, the last time we had a successful screen pass of more than like 11 yards was probably the same year we had a tight end tiptoeing back into the end zone, catching a floater at the 3-yard line.
Which we actually had in this game as well.
Right. So,
Yeah, we'll talk about the tight ends when we talk about the roster here in a minute. But interesting room and interesting decisions we have there. On the flip side of the Giants game, Jets and Eagles finished the preseason, and the Eagles, by the way, made a move today. They traded and got Sam Howell, the former Redskin quarterback. So that probably leaves one of the guys I was really interested in this coming into this year, Kyle McCord from Syracuse, out in the cold, the quarterback from Syracuse. Well, I thought did a fantastic job for Syracuse last year, but I can't imagine the Eagles are going to carry too many quarterbacks after they have Hurts and now Howell. And Carson Wentz was resurrected in Minnesota apparently as a backup. I thought he retired.
Guys like that they never stay down.
I mean, who is Minnesota's backup? That guy that's the giant killer that Cardone can't stand. What's his name?
Oh,
Mullins.
Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, the guy the lead singer from Air
Supply. Yeah, that's
that guy. Yeah, no, I didn't watch the game. I'm not gonna lie. It was Friday night. I had zero interest. I tried watching it on NFL Network and the highlights, and I was so bored. I didn't know any. I mean, I barely knew any of the guys that were in the game. I was interested somewhat in the third string quarterback and who's going to make the team, like if it really matters, was my biggest interest really. So Brady Cook outplayed Martinez, and Martinez got cut yesterday or today.
Martinez got cut.
He did.
Wow.
However, I think the Jets are going to end up getting DeVito.
You think so?
I do. If the Giants cut DeVito, I could see them making that move. I think Brady Cook is going to be a practice squad quarterback, and I don't think they would have cut Martinez if they didn't know that they were going to try to pick up a quarterback somewhere else. I think with Taylor not exactly healthy, I don't think you can go into the season with a quarterback that can't throw, a quarterback that can't stay healthy, and a undrafted free agent. So, we'll see what happens there. But it's really funny to me how Fields played so little, and that the hype of the Jets going into the preseason was like, we're going to be a running team and running ground and pound, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's off the bandwagon already because he played 2 series and, he looked terrible. So, and look, I said all along he's going to be terrible. He's going to be bad. He's going to be out of that starting position by week 6. So we'll see.
If he's out of that starting position, though, who can come in? Can they really go to Tyrod?
They're going to have anybody. I mean, I don't know. I guess, unless they pick somebody up like DeVito or someone else out there that gets, shakes free from one of the other teams. I could see that. I read an article today that said they are interested in this Brady Cook from Missouri, but like I'm not going to worry about an undrafted free agent from Missouri. Give me a break. If that happens, it's going to be like from you guys like 2 years ago when you were like, well, maybe DeVito's the guy. Like when he had that run of 3 games where he beat the Packers, was it on Monday night, and everyone was going nuts as if you found your diamond in the rough.
He had his Linsanity moment.
He did.
Yes. Yeah.
After they wouldn't let him throw against the Jets.
Yeah.
For a whole game.
So, wait, Novak, I got to ask then. So, if Fields is healthy, you think he could be benched by week 6?
I think so.
A healthy, yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to be terrible. I believe that they are a 3 to 5 win team with him at quarterback, and I don't think Aaron Glenn is the type of coach that is going to let someone just derail the team for 7 weeks in a row. I think he's going to give up, and best players got to play. You're not producing, someone else comes in. That's what we need. That's what I want. I want someone to say, he's the reason we're losing 5 straight games. Get someone else in and give someone else a chance. Oh. So I think Saleh wouldn't have done it. So, the fan base had to go nuts to get Zach Wilson out of there. So, but I think this will be a different world.
Here's how bad the perception is of the Jets. And Novak brought this up a couple pods ago about saying, he wouldn't touch Garrett Wilson with a 10-foot pole in fantasy leagues.
No.
I drafted Garrett Wilson last night as my 3rd wide receiver. He lasted that long because I think everyone knows who the fuck's getting him the ball.
I mean, he's going to be double covered every game. Who else are you going to throw to? Who else do we have?
Is Alan Lazard still alive?
Alan Lazard is a stiff. He can't catch. We've got a quarterback that can't throw and a wide receiver that can't catch.
Who are the wide receivers going into
I'm looking at the depth chart right here.
Josh Reynolds, Alan
Josh-
Lazard, Arian
Yeah.
Smith, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor's our tight end, who's going to be pretty good, but he's a rookie.
Tyler Johnson from
Tyler
Sales.
Johnson.
Yeah.
We have a Johnson from Sales. I mean, Brandon Smith. What? So I get out of here with this team. I mean, I've soured on them too. I was a little excited about them, but the closer we get to week 1, I was going to pick the Jets to win week 1. I don't know. I think Rodgers is going to come in and light us up.
So, you know what? With a Fields-led offense, this might be a good time to bring up this stat right here. If you guys give me a second, I just had it. Here it is. So Greg sent me something earlier before we came on, and this just says everything about the two pathetic offenses that we've been rooting for. This is Jets and Giants. So most games with 0 offensive touchdowns since 2015, your Jets lead the league.
Yes.
And by a mile, dude. 30 games. Think about this. Without his offensive touchdown. 30 since 2015. And who's behind them? 30 games. Who's behind them? The New York Football Giants with 19. Even that's
18.
a huge gap. And then everyone else kind of falls in. Who has the least? The Eagles. They have 3. They only have 3 games since 2000. So 10 years with
3 games and that's it.
Yeah.
So the Jets are averaging 3 games a year in the last decade?
Yeah.
Where they don't score an offensive
Where they
touchdown?
don't score an offensive touchdown. That's what we're dealing with.
Think
And the
about
Giants
that.
have 19. I mean, this is
Think
what goes
about-
on.
Think about how pathetic that is.
Think of it.
It's not like the other. You said 3 a year, Mike.
Yeah.
Not like the other 13 games
Yeah.
are scoring 7, right? We're maybe getting 1.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Eagles in that same time period have
3.
3.
3.
So that's
30
So-
to 3.
And you know those 3, 2 of them are probably because they had the fucking division wrapped up. It didn't play anybody or something,
yeah.
you know?
You're
Totally.
dead on. You're dead
Or is
on.
it a snowstorm or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
But like 30 and the Giants 19. So all of this is taking place at MetDeath. I mean, that's it's unbelievable.
Between all of us, we have, I'll just say roughly 50 games between all of us that we've watched in the last decade where our team didn't score an offensive touchdown.
It's unbelievable.
Someone's got to break that down to let us know how many of those games were at MetDeath.
And I get asked, Cardone, where's your positivity? Where's your optimism? This is it. What do you mean? This is because every week we can pull out a statistic like this. I mean,
30 games. My God.
That's my hope for this year. We don't have to go every week and talk about some obscure statistic that one of our teams has broken in futility.
yeah.
Oh, I will. The Jets are going to be there this year. I'm telling you. The
They
least
just
amount
have-
of completions over a 5-game span. Like, it's going to be all kinds of crap like that.
They just
Novak,
have so much ability to grab
I
these
know.
stats out of nowhere now that it seems like they could come up with anything. They're like in the last 62 games, in games played on a Sunday in which black quarterback on the field for one of the 2 teams, the Giants are the only team to have not scored a touchdown. It's like, shut up. That's not even a thing. It's not even.
I just hope
Keep
Novak.
throwing variables in there.
I just hope Novak still is on speaking terms with me by week 6 because we're gonna watch games at Mully's or wherever, and I'm just gonna be laughing watching Justin Fields getting blown up, doing everything that Justin Fields does.
God,
And it's not you, Novak. You know
I
it's
know.
Like I'm just gonna be laughing hysterically watching this guy.
No.
I don't know where my team's gonna be. That's regardless. I mean, there's still the Fields element that I feel like we created on this pod a few years ago when it's still shocking that he's still in the league. But I love.
Oh, Cardone froze up.
He did freeze up. Well, what I was gonna say is I will be laughing right along with him, and I screenshotted on my Jets all of these idiots when I screamed about Fields. The Jets getting Fields, and one guy says, "Sounds like it's someone who doesn't understand football." Okay, and I am gonna point this guy out when this happens. Hey, buddy,
Find him.
remember when you said this to me? Let's talk now.
Yeah. Keeping
So-
receipts.
So we're looking
I
at
hate
a.
receipts.
If we look around the NFL, we're looking at a situation right now with the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation where they could literally have 5 quarterbacks on the roster going into the season because of Deshaun Watson still technically being there. You have Flacco as the starter. You have Gabriel and Sanders. So I mean, at least right there, there's 4. You're keeping 4 no matter
I
what.
think they cut Huntley today.
Yeah, they did cut Huntley.
Yep. So
Yeah.
that leaves him at 4.
Plus, what? Oh no, that's right.
Watson is 4. Yeah.
Watson is 4. You're right.
So Watson's 4.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Watson's 5.
Yeah, Watson's 5.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Kenny Pickett. That's right.
Oh
I knew
God.
there was another
Pickett.
one. Yeah.
Totally forgot about Pickett.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew there was another one there.
So there were 6 at one point.
but guys, I got to tell you this. I mean, put aside where he fell into the draft and everything else. This is exactly why you don't want Shedeur Sanders on your team from this week, because the media, or just not the media shitstorm, but just the clown show going on social media as a whole, about what he's doing. Like, he has a performance where he's like sacked 5 times. He's half his plays were blown up. He's running around like Tecmo Bowl, they were saying. And you got other players throwing shade on him. He's firing back with his own insults. And this is going to happen time and again. The guy is just, I mean, do you want this distraction from your possible 5th string quarterback?
No.
Well, I'll tell you, this was my pet peeve, but
sorry.
I need to go last now. But they said today, they asked Stefanski, this was my, we lost Cardone. Stefanski, who I think is a very good coach. I really do. I mean, they got them a playoff win a few years ago. And he has just been handed a shitstorm of a team, terrible management. They made him draft Sanders, and they asked him, are you sabotaging Shedeur Sanders' career? What? Because they took him out of the game. Out of a game. He had 5 sacks and was negative 27 yards.
And that's part of the media shitstorm that's going on right now. Is there's other players going. In what realm do you ever see a coach actively torpedoing his own player, or telling there's a theory out there that the offensive linemen aren't blocking for him? And it's like, what offensive lineman who's fighting for a job is going to not block for a guy just to show him up? You know what I mean?
It's the same type of stuff as always, guys, right? It's the media said something and they're wrong. So they can't just be wrong. It's got to be somebody doing something against them. It's got to be something happening abnormally, because of course they're right. Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback we've ever seen come out of college. So then the line's not blocking for him. The coach is grenading his career. It can't just be he sucks. It couldn't be that. Even though pretty much 32 owners and 32 GMs told you 5 times on draft day, this guy stinks.
Yep.
And I'm going
he's showing it.
I'm going to get into that a little bit in my pet peeve. So I'll stop there, but it has nothing to do with Sanders. So.
Well, we can move on from that, so we can talk about it later if you need to. But I see Shiloh Sanders, his brother, got into a fight in his game, and he was cut the next day by the Buccaneers. So,
Yes, it was.
And there were a lot of Giant fans saying, "Let's pick him up." This guy, what? We need a safety like that is coming into college for no real reason. Or coming from...
I mean, why would you take any Sanders kid? For what?
No.
What? Why? I don't. He's a not even a drafted player. He's a backup at best. Who wants that? Of safety? Get out of here. Why would you take him?
Yeah. The thing with Shedeur is, as you were getting at there, Scott, I believe is this whole thing where, okay, you had 6 quarterbacks on your roster, but your day one starter is Joe Flacco. Like, what does that tell you about your organization? Right? How does that? I don't understand. But the thing about it is like Novak said many times in the past about this Sanders guy. You can sit there and watch him the whole time in practice. You can decide, man, he's not good enough. But the minute he's not starting, the minute he's not brought into a game where you're down by 2 scores, the media is going to fucking bury you. And that's why you don't want him on your team.
And I'll tell you this, guys, I don't think Joe Flacco gets enough credit. This guy is a former I think he's a Super Bowl MVP. But
Yes.
apart from that, this guy is still going strong.
Still going, man.
I mean, he had some games last year where he was blowing things up. I mean, the guy's a timeless machine. Who would have thought that? Joe fucking Flacco.
He's got to be the most boring player in the league. I mean, my God.
I
mean,
You sure it's not Daniel Jones?
well,
I don't know. By the way, I cut out there for a few minutes, so I think I went. You guys froze up on me. Did you realize I was gone?
Well, you froze up on us and then you dropped. So
yeah, you froze up and it looked like you were staring at your computer, like unbelievably interested in something because you were like.
And as I was, that's funny. As I was cursing, trying to get back in, all I could think about was like, why does this never happen like at work during my work hours? Why is this happening right now during the pod? Like, how come in the middle of the day, just to get me out of a meeting or something? No, it works fine.
Everything works fine.
Everything works perfectly. Trying to do a pod here. Angry Giant fan. Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Calm down, everyone.
Fine.
No one's
Calm
losing
down.
any internet during.
Everyone relax.
Relax, everyone. Calm down. You're not going to lose internet in a boring work meeting. You're not going to lose internet. Relax.
So, did you guys have anything else from around the NFL before I get into the next segment?
Did you talk about Shiloh Sanders?
Yes, we did.
See, I missed that. There you go. I came back with Sanders, and I was like, well, which one?
Well, what are your thoughts on it? We got to get your take on it.
Yeah.
Well, what's great about that play is I love the fact that, well, there was a couple things. Sanders, I love the fact that he's being like he's not expecting to be blocked on a football field. It's like you're not selling, maps, or you're not selling insurance, Mr. Sanders. You're on an NFL football field. That's your place of employment. People are trying to block you. There's a play going on the field, and the guy just throws a punch at a guy who's making a block, finishing the block to the whistle. And then the media is going to gaslight us by saying that the guy was blocking well after the whistle, long after the play had ended. I don't think so. It looked like the official. If that was the case, then why didn't who was the guy? Whatever the tight end on the Buffalo was.
Tight end that's going to be cut probably tomorrow.
Yeah, whatever. But
he served his duty to this
absolutely.
League. He got a Sanders out of the league.
Yeah. I said, I go one down, one to go. Let's go next.
Well, I mean, what are the odds that a fringe safety on not a great team is going to do that though without a name Sanders? No one's doing that.
No,
because you're going to get cut the next day. Why would you do it?
Yeah.
That's just these Sanders got to get the hell out of this league. I've had enough.
So looking at the rosters for both of our teams, I mean, so the cuts are coming tomorrow. Tomorrow will be cut down day, and we'll know a lot more. The Giants already released about 8 guys, including Washington, who did pretty well, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised at that, but then again, I mean, they're cutting down. There's some position battles I think that we have to look at. Any surprise cuts expected? I'm gonna throw a couple out there because I think the two most intriguing positions right now for the Giants are tight end, and quarterback. I think at quarterback, what they do with DeVito or Winston is telling. Do they trade one of them? Do they cut one of them? Because to Novak's point, I think you cut either Winston or DeVito, they're getting snapped up by another team. So do you get anything from them? I think tight end's an even more interesting discussion because the guy Fedone from Nebraska, who had torn both ACLs and coming out of high school, he was considered as good as Bowers. And, he had 2 major injuries, but he's flashed in preseason. The Giants took a flyer on him. Mm-hmm. And Dolchik, who has looked pretty good when he was playing for the Broncos, has done really well. So, in my mind, I think a surprise cut is going to be Daniel Bellinger. I think Bellinger's just one of those guys. He's making a lot of money for a tight end on the Giant roster, and he's probably, at best, even with those guys right now. The other guy who didn't help himself in the last preseason game, and I think he's probably done, even though he had positive results prior to that in camp, but obviously not the last few years, Evan Neal. I think Evan Neal's getting cut too.
Yeah, I believe he served his term. I believe he is he's done. He's getting steamrolled at guard too.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
at guard, he ended up on the ground several different times.
Yeah.
And you know, before that, he looked pretty good during camp, and then he's in against 3s and 4s at the end of this last game, and he's getting absolutely demolished. So I think
Yeah,
I think he's done.
I think he's done, and I think they can afford that because there's some of these offensive linemen who we've seen in the preseason have been great. This Marcus Mbow,
Oh,
my
awesome.
God, he's been killing people, and right now he's not even a projected starter. So
He's gonna be a swing tackle. He can play either side though.
yeah, I mean, we got some hard to believe, but we have some talent and flexibility on the offensive line and a little bit of depth, even without Neal.
Yeah. So I had my eye on a few of the same exact guys, Scott. So looking at the tight end position, it's amazing that we're talking about depth at the tight end position because I felt like we haven't had anybody there. And then I started thinking of the same thing after the last game. I'm like, holy shit! Like of the tight end position, I'm like Bellinger is the guy that I feel like has worked his way out of the rotation and maybe off this roster. You wouldn't think that when preseason started. Like, nah, Bellinger, he's right there. He's one of the guys. Now I'm not sure. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he's cut at all. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Neal, I still would be surprised if they let Neal go just for that depth purpose. I still think he has maybe one more year left to somehow salvage a roster spot. I think that's just my opinion. I think that he still maybe survives this round of cuts, and they're going to give him like one more chance. This is your last chance, Neal. This is it. So I tell you one guy. I was surprised at Washington. Thought he had a pretty good couple games there, the receiver. But I tell you one guy I'm fucking fed up with. You know how I feel about Darius Slayton. He's obviously like I've had it with Jalen Hyatt. I don't care that he caught a touchdown pass. You know, when Winston came in after Dart went to cut. I've had it with Jalen Hyatt. He doesn't catch shit. He doesn't. My brother uses this term all the time. The guy is constantly just draped by a defender. His lack of ability to get separation from anything in a defensive backfield is just. I've had it with Hyatt. Cut his ass. Just cut him. Get rid of him.
Well, if you guys remember that video that went viral, I think it was coming out of the combine when the Cowboys coach was talking to Hyatt, and he's like, "Man," he goes, "You're a one-trick pony. You can't run routes, and you're just fast." And he's like, "No, man, I can run routes. I'll show you this." And he's like, "I don't know." And Hyatt has not shown that guy that he was wrong. He cannot run routes. He
sucks.
And if you think about it, think back to those guys, Willie Gault, Ronaldo Nehemiah, whoever it is, any fast receiver in the NFL has to add moves or they're limited. They can't do anything. Who's the guy the Giants had just a couple years ago that was the Bengal guy, John Ross? Mm-hmm. Same thing, speedster. But if you can't make any moves to go with that, I don't know what you're going to do. And I'll tell you what, the wide receiver to me is a big issue right now. If Neighbors, Slayton, or Robinson get hurt, because I don't know what they have for depth. You know, Bo Collins probably makes his team now. Gunnar Olszewski. Yeah, Lil Jordan probably makes the team.
Yeah, Lil Jordan.
Gunnar Olszewski probably makes the team. But think about it. I mean, those aren't guys you that are going to carry you and have like 7-8 touchdowns in a year if Neighbors goes down. You know.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'll tell you, Gunnar though. I believe Gunnar. He's not just going to be a guy who makes the squad. I think Gunnar is going to be a key piece to this thing this year. I think he's going to see the field a lot, slot, third down. I think he's going to be out there a bunch.
He reminds me of Cole Beasley, actually.
Yeah.
I was going to say Phil McConkey. if I got to go Giant uniform, Phil McConkey, right? That guy, you just have to have him on your team.
Yeah.
And I'll say this about both Evan Neal and Bellinger, Cardone. I do think they might get cut because they're both in the last year of their rookie deals. So if they have good years, they're going to want money.
They're going to get paid.
So you can cut that dead weight now if you need to, and get out of there.
Yeah, I guess no Bellinger Neal would still be like, holy shit, like that would definitely be. I think most people would agree that'd be like, holy shit, that's an eye opener. Like, wow, fucking Giants cut Evan Neal. Like that's he's still kind of a big name, but he's working his way towards that in that direction. We'll see what happens. Obviously, if I wouldn't, let's put it this way, I would not be upset if they cut him. I'd be a little surprised,
Yeah,
but
well-
it's not like I'm going to be pissed. I'm not.
Yeah, but what if the Eagles pick him up, turning him into an All-Pro?
Well,
Which they did with Mekhi Becton, which is
Yeah.
very similar, right?
oh God, don't say that, Novak.
Novak on the Jets side. Any battles that stand out there that you're looking at?
Well, your favorite guy got cut. Zach Kuntz
Oh,
was
Oh, the tight end.
yeah, he was cut. Yeah, they cut who I thought was going to be their weak side linebacker, Jamin Davis or whatever his name is. I was shocked by that. If you're looking for who I think could be a shock cut, is actually Alan Lazard. And that, yes, they're very, very weak and have no depth at wide receiver, but they're probably like, no one's throwing it to him anyway, so might as well get rid of the one guy that still has a connection to the dick. I think Aaron Glenn
got
does
a
not
dick
like a dick connection. So I think Glenn wants to rid himself of that whole dick experience from the last 2 years, and Lazard is still a hangover there. So I think they'll try to. I'm not saying he's going to. I wouldn't be surprised if Lazard gets cut tomorrow, especially if they can pick up a wide receiver off the scrap heap that gets cut by somebody else, because they do need someone for Fields to try to throw to. So, yeah, other than that, there's nothing really exciting. Maybe a backup they're talking about, our backup tackle, who I thought had a lot of potential, but they're saying he's on the chopping block. They've just signed 2 more defensive linemen. They seem to seemingly run defensive line in and out like kickers. Like the little car shows up and a bunch of defensive tackles run out, and now they're all on the Jets. But no, nothing major here.
Well, I was actually going to bring that up with the Giants too. Is that overall, this is a good discussion that we're having. That we're actually arguing about bottom of the roster players to turn over. When in past years it wouldn't have really mattered, But we're going to let go of some guys. And the good thing about the Giants is that their waiver wire position is number 3. So if there's a wide receiver out there that gets let go that is better than any of the guys here. I mean, even if Hyatt makes the team, he might be off the team by next week if they pick up an established wide receiver. So I got to go back to last week's pod. I was 100% wrong about Marv Levy. He's still among us. He's still living. I was catfished on Marv Levy of all things. And I did get some intelligence about the pole vault. So the pole vault, there's actually pole vault dealers that are out there that the coaches deal with. So there's a supply of pole vaults that schools purchase from. And when you practice the pole vault, you tend to just put it on top of your car to take it home. And when you travel with the team, you know how you go on the long buses, they lay it down on the floor of the bus. What else is
that makes
traveling
sense.
on the bus?
Yeah, I get it.
You have to slide it out of the emergency door in the back, though, right? That
Yeah,
thing.
you couldn't.
You're not.
You can't get it through the folding door.
No.
Yeah, there's no way.
But why was that emergency door in the back of the bus like so off limits that every time you saw that open, it was like such a big deal growing up? Oh my God, the emergency door is open.
The only way to get the pole vaults out.
Apparently, yeah, but you put it on top of the car.
Yeah, you can
That
put it on
becomes
top
like
of
a
the car.
projectile. I mean, what,
Yeah.
Right.
what are we
Imagine
doing?
you get in an accident, that thing just.
Yeah, I'm not driving behind a pole vaulted car.
When I talked to a pole vaulter and I said, "How did you learn how to do it?" And they said, "Well, you practice first off, like just running up and putting it into the slot, the little divot. And then gradually you keep doing that until you put it in the divot enough where there's bend. And then you start to climb up it and things like that. And then you just gradually just get more speed and you end up going to the point where you're flipping over. And apparently when you're doing that, there's mats on both sides because you're not actually, so, but still.
Still
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
You learn.
Yes. Still sounds dangerous to me. I don't know. I mean, you're putting it into the thing and you're running full force. I mean, I remember shoveling snow and you'd hit like a groove in the driveway and the thing would go straight into your chest.
Yeah.
How is that any different?
Didn't take much, did it? Just a
No.
little tiny crack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're not running full force.
Or like a pogo stick. I never really.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I had one of those. Like if you ever if your foot slipped off the little, like if you came down and the thing came up and hit you like in the chin or something. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I don't want to get morbid here, but I always thought, like you always hear stories about people that are out shoveling snow and they have heart attacks. And I think to myself, is it that vigorous an activity that you're like just you keel over from just shoveling snow? But there's a number of cases where that's happened. I've never really understood it though. When I shovel snow, it's not like I feel like this is the most extreme chore I've ever done.
It's been a while though since we've shoveled snow.
I shoveled for my parents last winter,
minute.
actually, but
And to be even more insensitive and callous, that kind of snow leads me to believe that it's falling in snow like climates. You know what I mean? So like people like that. You've done this before. You know what I mean? Like I could see if you got a freak blizzard in fucking like Tampa. And no one's ever done it before. They're like, hey, Nick, you want to slow down there? Like, no, I got it. And then that guy drops over. Like, well, shit, he's never shoveled snow before in his life. I could see that. But a guy in Buffalo that drops, you've been doing this your whole life. How do you not know? Like,
I personally apologize to any of our listeners who
yeah,
had relatives die from shoveling snow because
we have to
I
make a
know that's
disclaimer or
actually
something.
kind of
Yeah.
a huge thing. Happens to a lot of people.
So before we get into pet peeves, and we got a ton of questions, season predictions this year. So we'll go through. Actually, I'll give all of us should give the Giants and Jets records as well as our Super Bowl.
Well, are we holding Super
Participants.
Bowl for the live pod though?
Oh wait, we're doing. I thought we were going to do predictions next week. No, you want to do it tonight or
I thought
next
we were
week?
doing Super Bowl at the live pod and
All
Jets
right,
Giants today.
We could do Super Bowl at the live pod. We'll do Jets Giants Day. We'll hold
Yeah,
something
makes
back for the live pod.
Makes
Oh,
Because I hadn't thought about it yet, so good.
So,
But we did talk about that, to be clear.
yeah. So Novak, I'll start with you with Jets
Uh-huh.
and Giants records.
So I'll go Giants first. I think you guys are going to have a fun year. I think you're actually not going to be pissed off. I think that the Giants are going to be one of the most improved teams in the league, but I still think you're going to be in last place in your division. The good news is that in my opinion, you're the team on upward trajectory. I think Dart is going to be fantastic. You'll be in there by week 9. But I just think that schedule is too friggin' brutal. And I still think you have some, like you guys were saying, your depth at some skill positions is not quite there yet. So I think the Giants are going to be 7-10. That's my pick for the Giants. Do I go Jets now, or are we?
Yep, go Jets.
All right. So the Jets, I think I'm going to like Aaron Glenn. That's my opinion. I think I'm going to like the defense again. I think they'll be strong. I think that he's going to turn Sauce Gardner into, if he's not already one of the best corners in the league, he will be after having played for Aaron Glenn. The culture is going to be changed, but we don't have a quarterback that can throw. So in this league, you can't win with what we have at quarterback. And I hate to be the armchair, all I'm going to talk about is the quarterback, but that really is the missing piece here. Because you think about Breece Hall and Braylon Allen and Garrett Wilson and an incredible offensive line. It's just, even with all of those pieces, it's not going to be enough. So I think the Jets are going to suck. So I'm going to say 4-13.
damn, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I'll go next because I did put a lot of money in the Jets for the over, and the over was 4.5. And I agree, Justin Fields is not the guy, but I believe that the rest of the offensive talent is good, and I believe they have a strong enough defense, and they have a schedule that is soft enough that the Jets are going to get at least 6 wins, possibly 7. So I actually put the Giants at 7-10. I put the Jets at 7-10. And I think if they do something where they get a quarterback at the end of cuts or they bring one in, that they could possibly replace Justin Fields and maybe have a surprise year, especially if it's a veteran guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at the Jets as being 7-10, and on the flip side of that, I am the eternal optimist. I'm riding the wave of optimism coming out of preseason, as foolish as that is, and I recognize the foolishness of it. But I'm looking at the Giants, and the schedule on paper is tough, but you never know how it's going to be once the bullets start flying. And I just think Russell Wilson breathes some energy in this team. The offense comes back to what it used to be. The defensive line starts getting sacks. They're putting pressure on teams. No one will want to play the Giants. And I caveat this with, if they get off to a 2-0 or 1-1 start, this team will be 10-7. If they go 0-2, shit could go off the rails. We might see Dart in week 4. You never know. But I'm not saying Dart coming in would be bad, but I think Dart coming in his rookie year could be like Eli coming in his rookie year, and you're going to deal with what happens, and it's not going to be pretty, but he's going to get a lot of experience, and he's going to look good following years after that.
The 10-7.
I love Scott's optimism.
Wow.
This guy.
I believe the Giants will be second place in the East.
Pisses me off.
Possibly a wild card.
The eternal optimist.
I don't know where he gets it from. I don't know where it comes from.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. It's
Boys, I've seen 4 Super Bowl wins in my life.
Yeah, I know. That's all. That's enough.
I know. So we know the difference between a championship kind of team and this shit.
Same kind of vibe leading up to 2007 is coming now.
You want me to?
Oh my God! Now you're going to Super Bowl. What the hell?
No, not Super Bowl. I'm just saying same kind of vibe leading up to 2007 with Eli. So,
all right,
I'll let Mike go next.
Yeah, I'll go to crush some of that optimism back. So, in years past, when I see a quarterback like Russell Wilson come to a new team, and this has happened a lot in recent years, and I'm always been skeptical of that. No, I'm not often right all the time. I've been right about that. I've been right in questioning Rodgers at the Jets. I was right about questioning. I had another example there and I lost it because I'm old. But anyway, this seems like the same thing to me. Like I feel like other people are like, why are the Giants getting so much love right now? There's Russell Wilson, who hasn't been good in 5 years and 3 teams. Now all of a sudden he's supposed to just be great for the Giants, and that like they have some great situation there. I don't buy it. I think we're gonna be pretty bad. I do think that the defense will keep us in a lot of games. I don't think we're gonna get kicked around a lot. I agree with Scott's sentiment that I don't think we're gonna be a particularly fun team to play. Russell Wilson, although he's not the Russell Wilson of old, knows how to keep a team in a ball game, and he knows how to win a ball game at the end. So I think the Giants improve. I think they managed to go 6-11, 6 wins, 11 losses on this schedule. And a lot of that does have to do with the schedule. And I'm really like, I agree. I don't know if 6-11, what do you think, Cost? 6-11, if we're riding 4 wins with 8 weeks to go, is that Dart territory then, or do we let Wilson ride that out?
I kind of agree with Novak's take. If we're a middling team and we hit the bye, that's Dart time. I think that's when we see him, regardless of what the record is. I will say this, Mike, though, about Wilson. He did take the Steelers to the playoffs last year.
Well,
the Steelers went to the playoffs last year.
Excuse me. Justin Fields got him to 4-2. So let's not overlook that.
Fields was the catalyst.
Please.
Right.
The Steelers are going to the playoffs. It doesn't matter who the players are.
It's true.
The Steelers just have a buy into the playoffs right now. The Jets, I agree with the pessimism on the Jets as well. It doesn't look good for me there. Fields is a disaster, and it's a Tim Tebow trap to me, because the media and the fans, it doesn't matter what Fields does or doesn't do, they're going to get their 2 or 3 highlight runs a week, and that's all they're going to need to say they want him to stay in there. And those things don't produce points, they don't produce wins, they don't produce sustained drives, they don't produce anything except for highlight reels. And I think the Jets are going to suffer from that. I think, to Novak's point earlier in the pod, I think Glenn is smarter than that and tougher than that. But what option does he have in week 6 if they're 1-5 or something? Who's even on the who do you even bring in at that point? I mean,
I just have to
Tyrod.
ask this: if the Jets don't get 5 wins, which one of you guys is going to take me, Steph, and the dog in to live at your house because I put so much money on them to get at least 5 wins?
I did not know what the over-under was, Scott. I did pick the Jets to win 4 games, so I apologize for that.
Novak did too. So
I have them at 4-13. Yeah.
So, hey, if you have an air mattress, that would work.
Yeah, I got a separate room. You'd be all right. You guys would be good.
I'm just excited. Scott's going to be as big a Jet fan as me for at least until I get 5
Yeah, that
wins.
sounds. Yeah.
I could be Fire Marshal Ed. He's a Dolphin fan, so I might as well be a Jets fan too.
Sure, we'll take you.
Cardone?
You guys have broken down just, every which way we can for our 2 beloved teams here, right? So I'm just going to pile on a little bit. I'll start with the Jets, Jets. Justin Fields is your quarterback. That's all. Not much more needs to be said. That's the opening. That's the highlight. Or not even a highlight. I mean, that's the headline. The headline is I'm already trying to think of back pages. Like if that should be something we should do during the year is the back page, write up on the New York Post throughout the year. So with Fields under center, now who knows? Is he going to be there all year? Like I said, whether you bring someone else in behind him at some point during the year, that's not going to be an improvement. So, looking at the schedule, you got some winnable games. Again, I hate to look at the schedule too much. I'll talk about this with the Giants as well, because year to year the NFL changes so much from year to year, from bad to good, good to bad, that kind of thing. So, without breaking much more of it down with the Jets, I think you got Novak. You had him. I have him at 5-12. That was my first. So Scott, I guess you'd be a winner at 5-12. So shit. I mean, for that reason, dude, let's get the 5 wins for the Jets for that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
cheering for 5.
Yeah, I don't want to see on a mattress out in the street or something like that. So
no one wants that.
No. So give me the Jets at 5-12. And like I said earlier, it's going to be entertaining to be watching Justin Fields run around this year. That's going to be great. So, because in years past we had to just see highlights or that kind of stuff. Now we're going to be seeing him. We're going to be sitting watching every week.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. So, and the Giants, let's listen. I mean, this team now we know it's a totally different looking team from last year as far as the roster and all that. But this team won 3 games last year. If they double their win total, that's obviously 6, which would be a massive improvement. So I'm not ready yet to go where Scott is with his level of optimism. 10-7, that sounds like a playoff spot to me. I think if you win 10 games, you're in the NFC, you're in the playoffs. So Scott needs to start thinking about seedings, for God's sakes. But I think, and again, with this, yes, they have a tough schedule, but I don't want to look too deep into that because of, again, what changes year over year. But yeah, they have some games that it just seems almost impossible to win. As far as some of their opponents there, at Detroit looks ridiculous. Even Kansas City at home, the games like that. So it's hard to, when you look at the Giants' schedule from top to bottom, they have a lot. The one thing I want to see really is I'm one of the few maybe that does not think Daboll's coaching for his job. I think the guy's safe. I do. I think unless they were to go 3-14 again, then I think all he has to do is win 6-7 games. I think he's fine because you know what? I think he's a great coach. I really do. I think he's the right coach for the Giants. So I'm not worried about. I'm going to say that all year. I hope. And who knows? Like Mike said, or Scott said, the season could start 0-4, and who the hell knows what happens? Then we just go off the rails, and then the whole thing implodes. But I don't think that's going to happen. Even though they have a tough start to the schedule, which the NFL schedule makers seem to fuck us every year with that. We just can't seem to get out of the gate ever. It's a long answer to the question here, Scott. But Giants 6-11. I got them at 6 wins, 6-11 for the Giants. So I have one more win for the Giants and the Jets, Novak. There you go.
I'm still pissed that the Giants have 2 road division games to start the season. It's just one of those things. It's like you said with the schedule makers. You're going to fuck us that way too?
Yeah.
We can't start with like a Duval We
Yeah.
have to go
Like
with,
Philly does every other year.
Wait,
Yeah,
you
no.
want to open up with 2 division opponents? Fine. One of them has to be at home.
Right. No, I'm that's 100% spot on. And that, it's like if you just told me the schedule and you told me the Giants opened up with Washington and Dallas before coming home to Kansas City, I'd be like, okay, that's not terrible. So that's a home and away.
Mhm.
That's fine. And then of course the schedule comes out, you look at it at Washington, at Dallas. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah.
I mean, that is,
So I'll start. I know Novak wants to go last, so I'll start with pet peeves because mine's just one that I heard this earlier this week and it really clicked with me because it's something we talk about all the time, and although the comment's specific to one team, it applies in many different ways. So I heard this comment, a great comment by the way. The Dallas Cowboys are a content slash brand company that plays football on the side. And I think that's part of our gripes as fans. We sit here now, we're in the business now of teams generating clicks rather than wins. And to me, I maybe that's the old man in me. That's what I hate about the way the NFL is going. The NFL is going to who looks best pregame in their fits section, who is generating the most clicks in the likes department, rather than who's fucking actually winning on the field. And I think that's if you boil down our pet peeves or the things we hate the most about the NFL, probably 60% of them encompass some sort of that stratosphere. And that's where I'm at. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about content. And when I hear the term content creator, my skin starts to boil anyway because I'm always thinking to myself, what the fuck is a content creator? What the fuck is an influencer? You hear about influencers all the fucking time, and it's like anymore, it's like the only time I've ever seen anything about an influencer, it's like popular influencer found dead at 23 or something like that. It's like how these influencers, they don't have long lifestyles for some reason. I have no idea why.
shoveling too much snow.
but I mean that's I know that's the world we live in now, but it's the part of sports now that I'm starting to hate because influencers, content creators will tell you that players in the NBA or in the WNBA are worth $8 million a year. They'll tell you that this is what needs to happen, and you look at sports and say sports are a very clean mechanism. You have a winner and a loser. You don't need all this other drama, but we create all this other drama.
It's a great
Influencer.
comment.
That is good.
It's a great comment, Scott, because you're right. I mean, that's always been the beauty of sports from when we were all young. We all know it. It's clean. It's like math. There's a correct answer. Two teams face each other. One team wins. And that's it. And it's over. And all the shit talk can go away at that point because the team who won, and that's it. And it's not like that anymore. I mean, guys, Scott mentioned Dallas in there, which I think was the perfect segue into that because we still treat Dallas, not we as in us four, but we still treat Dallas around this league as if they're a God franchise, right? As if they're right?
America's team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
America's
this team hasn't been to a championship game in their conference in over 25 years, closer to 30. Someone said, I think when we were out this weekend, someone said this century. If you think about it, they're the furthest team away from a championship in the NFC. Every other fucking team has played for an NFC championship. And yet, Dallas is our model. Fuck Dallas.
Apologies, Peacock.
Well,
Yeah, sorry.
influencers are the ones that are driving merchandise. I mean, why do you think the Chiefs are the number one most merchandise sales in the world? Why do you think the Knicks all of a sudden had a run on merchandise? Because that stupid Kylie Jenner was at the game. Because she's like the second most followed person on Instagram, whatever. And this is what these organizations want. They want influencers at their games to drive product because it's basically free marketing for them.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and I agree about the Cowboys. That was a thing when we were growing up, but at least you were following them because it was an actual team, not because some fool who sat in the front row was telling you to follow them.
Yeah. And that was an actual team like winning games. And
exactly.
And,
I mean, at least you did it for.
You were terrified of. Yeah.
And they had all female cheerleaders too. Like
yes.
it was, yeah. That
Those
was
were the
another reason to
days.
tune in. Yeah. Yeah.
My wife is hooked on the reality show about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and it's like, really?
I am too.
Mike, pet peeve.
I think Steph and I watched that for entirely different reasons. Yeah, I got a pet peeve that kind of brushes on a little something we were kind of talking about earlier, but I'll take it a whole different direction, but it's the same thing. And it's, I just want to let everyone know. I want to let the media know. I want to let our listeners know. I want to let fans know. The NFL coaches know. Okay? They know. They know who's good on their team. They know who isn't. Period.
Mm-hmm.
They see them in practice. They see them in camp. They see them in the locker room. The amount of attention to detail these guys have is otherworldly. They know. So when your coach comes out and he tells you that Daniel Jones is going to start ahead of Richardson this year, don't make an ass of yourself. Just don't do it. Don't go on social media and give a thumbs up and say proof that the Colts are trying to tank for Arch Manning.
Oh, get out of here.
Because that happened. So yeah. So in this fan's eye, and I don't blame the fan. He's a Colts fan. He probably didn't see anything but ESPN highlights of Daniel Jones, and we know what ESPN like to do with Daniel Jones already. We already know that Daniel Jones could go 21 of 30 for 299 yards with 3 touchdowns, and they'll show him stumble on the way to running for a touchdown. Or they show him getting sacked and losing the ball. We know, we've seen this happen, and then stick in the end. Oh, by the way, the Giants won 36-10. So we know all about what happens there. So and then there's a bunch of other posts from Colt fans, just distraught. Just what are we doing? These guys need to be fired. It's all based on a narrative that they think they understand about Daniel Jones. They really, honestly, in their hearts believe, because you have 2 quarterbacks on the same team, right? Richardson and Jones. Jones is one that the media is allowed to hammer. He is fair game, baby. They will nail him to the wall. Richardson, not allowed. Can't go after Richardson. So, of course, this is going to play out this way. The fans act like their whole organization is turning on them because they think Daniel Jones is a complete and utter laughingstock at the quarterback position. Well, they're about to find out he's not. And yeah. I'm not saying that he's going to turn the franchise around and take him to the playoffs or anything. They're going to say he's just a normal quarterback. He makes some good throws. He makes some bad throws. And by the way, every now and then he tucks the ball and runs pretty flippin' fast when he can get some open space, which is that part of Jones' game is the only game Richardson has. So, Colts fans, you're going to be fine. Don't listen to the anti-hype. You'll like Jones. He'll never do anything to embarrass your organization. He will never pull himself out of a game because he's tired. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
That's for sure.
So
you can count on that. Yeah.
Just give the guy a chance. He was a good dude, a good player for New York. It just didn't work out. If you can stay healthy there and not run him into the ground like the Giants really had no choice but to do the last couple of years he was here, he'll be just absolutely fine.
If Daniel Jones wasn't picked where he was and the Giants weren't put in that position where they had to justify that, he is, if I look back at comparable quarterbacks, he's like a Bobby Hebert. He's like a Jake Delhomme.
Yeah,
those guys. Did you ever hear people throw those guys under the bus that much? No. They're competent NFL quarterbacks that are going to win you games. They're not going to lose you a ton of games. They're not going to win you a ton of games either. They're guys that are there. They're starting caliber quarterbacks.
And if anything, Costanza made the country know Bobby Hebert for sure by correctly pronunciating his name, making sure it wasn't Herbert, but like Hebert. Say it again. It's a fun name to say. Hebert. H-A-T-E-R-T. Hebert. Not Herbert. So Seinfeld and Costanza did their part to make sure that, hey, everyone, this is a pretty good dude.
Bobby Hebert got to throw to Anthony Carter in the USFL, right. I think.
He did. Michigan Panthers, maybe?
Yeah, Michigan Panthers, I believe it was.
Bobby Herbert.
Cardone, pet peeve?
Well, it sounds like when I was frozen a couple hours ago, like Austin Powers was, you touched on the Shedeur Sanders circus.
We can go more in depth because we were talking about it being a circus, but yeah.
Yeah, just again, the circus that is Shedeur Sanders, right? This started on draft night. We certainly don't need to bring that back up. We all know what happened. But basically the fact is that this guy is a 5th round draft pick, regardless of anything that led into the draft. And where I'm going is that the last preseason game that Sanders played in against the Rams, right, the other day, he looked horrific. Right. And all our eyes are on him for the same reason, I think. Mine are. I'm watching him because of his last name and because of all the bullshit that surrounds this guy, who he is and what, and how he got to the Cleveland Browns. So much like Fields, I want this guy to tank and fail miserably for relatively the same reasons. And it's not even the player. I want our listeners to understand, it's the media. It's really the media. I have nothing against Justin Fields as a dude or as a quarterback. I really don't. I couldn't care less. And the same thing with Sanders, other than his dad being a dick, when he was, a cocky asshole when he was playing and he played for teams that I despise, winning championships and stuff. But he's just a guy that I didn't pay any attention to while he was at Colorado, to be honest. But now that the spotlight is on him, where I'm going with this pet peeve is the sports media. Stop. We're too smart. Stop gaslighting us by telling us now that it's Stefanski's fault, the head coach of the Browns, that Shedeur Sanders was set up for failure the other day against the Rams in a preseason game. I'm not having it. I'm not listening to it. Stop gaslighting us, okay? Because we can see with our own eyes what's going on a football field. I don't care I read an article and then also watched a few minutes of First Take and all the other bullshit shows today to try to get into the season, because here we are a week away from regular season. I don't watch this shit all summer, but now that we're close to football and now that I'm starting to pay attention a little bit to like Stephen A and RC and all these other buffoons on ESPN to hear what their take and what they want. And sure enough, they're trying to gaslight and fool us that Shedeur Sanders, it's not his fault. He was set up for failure. No, maybe the guy just sucks. Okay. Don't sit there and try to tell me that it's Kevin. Is it Kevin Stefanski?
Yep.
Sanders wasn't given the opportunity that Gabriel, the other quarterback. Is it Gabriel? Look at me. I'm
Gabriel. Yep.
Yeah. He was set up. They were dropping. They didn't get the ball out quick enough for Sanders. They were running different kind of plays for him. So in other words, they're the ones that took the flyer on this guy in the 5th round, but then they're also the same ones that are just intentionally trying to sabotage their own guy. Not buying any of it. So the pet peeve really is just it's the sports media. Stop sabotaging, or I'm sorry, stop gaslighting us. I'm not having it anymore. I just can't.
Did Stefanski call like 3 plays that called for the quarterback to like circle back about 15 yards?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
He could have thrown it away.
To run backwards. This guy, again, thinking that like, it's Shedeur Sanders. He's just going to run away from, and I don't care if these guys are, and it got cut this week. And then the article went on to say they were pointed out, highlighted, 4 of these 5 Cleveland Brown offensive linemen were cut, since that game. So, I'm like, well, who were the schmucks that were playing defensive line? They had to be 3rd stringers, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
So it's the gaslighting of the media. I can't take it. They take us for fools. We're smarter than that.
Here's the predicament we're in as fans. There's a huge chance that Shedeur Sanders wind up never playing a meaningful NFL game.
Yeah.
And the what if scenario will always be, well, we weren't ever treated to his greatness because of incompetence by everyone else but him.
That's what Kurt Warner was trying to say in his soundbite. That we didn't get the opportunity to see his greatness this preseason because the Browns were putting him in circumstances and play calling and everything else that he was set up for failure. I'm just sick and tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This headline from AP from after the game. So the game's over. And it's not a headline, it's a tagline. And it says, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski went with Tyler Huntley instead of Shadur Sanders when his team had a chance for a winning preseason drive on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
They won! First of all, it's preseason. Who cares?
By the way, that guy was rewarded by getting cut too.
He got cut.
Exactly.
But if you just read that, you'd be like, "Oh, Stefanski blew it. He had a chance to win the game. He took Sanders out." No, that's not what happened at all. He won the game. Everything was fine. Nothing
But
to
I love
see
how
here.
just a couple months ago it was the Browns who was like, "Yeah, we'll take Sanders. Come on, dude, you're welcome here. We'll take you." And now now with the media, the same media that was praising the Browns. Oh, what a steal and what a value, and let's thank the Browns for taking a chance on Sanders. But now that they're intentionally sabotaging the guy before he even gets a chance to play in the regular season.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Not having it. Not listening to it.
They're the one team that took a chance on him, but now they took a chance on him just so they could embarrass him.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of their plan.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They're playing the long game.
Man.
Novak, pet peeve.
So I got to use my spare key pet peeve, apparently. The key that you never use until you keep it in your back pocket. No, in case you get locked out.
It works.
So I had to do so my pet peeve is it kind of is the media, but it's kind of also the dick. This guy cannot get out of my life fast enough. He just needs to go away and hide and go to a retreat or whatever. But what bothers me the most is the combination of this is when he was on the Jets, this freaking guy couldn't go get a cheeseburger without it being on the back page. He's at every New York game. He's at the ballet. He's at Taylor Swift. Everything he do is documented, right? That he has no privacy. Now he's married, and we, as the media, can't find who his supposed wife is. Knock it off. There's no way that is possible. Either A, the guy is lying and he's married to himself, like I've said, or they just don't care because he's in Pittsburgh and not in New York. Either way, it's bullshit. Like I'm just.
It's a great call.
How is this guy married? Stop. He's not. Right? Am I wrong here? In the world in which we live today, we can find out anything at any time. But this guy is married, and we don't know who this woman is. It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah, we knew when he was taking a piss in New
explanation.
York. Yeah.
No, we know people he dated too. Olivia Dunn,
Danica Patrick.
Danica Patrick, Olivia Munn. Sorry, Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick. Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Something's fishy with this whole thing. I think he married his feminine side of himself or something weird. It's just something's not right.
I'll tell you what. This pod is going to be sad next year when the dick is finally gone.
Yeah, we're going to lose a chunk there. That's for sure.
We are.
Yeah. What if the Dick and Justin Fields leave the same year?
Oh my gosh.
We're going to have to come up with all new material.
I feel like when Diane Chambers left, we'll have to find a Kirstie Alley somewhere or something. Coach passes away. We fill him in with Woody. We'll have to find something.
We're going to have to find some magic because we don't want people going, oh, remember when the Dick was around? That show was so much better. You don't want that.
Peacock's Corner is here, and he asks, and this is a good one because I have to actually think about this one a lot. Who is our sports hero?
Ooh, good one.
So I'll go first since I saw this question first, and I'll tell you what. I mean, it has fluctuated in time. If I were to talk to my dad, I think it probably was Mickey Mantle, although I don't know for sure. For me, much of my growing up, even though I loved the Yankees of the '70s, Don Mattingly was the guy who was like the guy I really thought of as my sports hero. And then when the Giants became good, it was LT, Harry Carson, but I never really had a singular Giant like I did with Mattingly. So I mean, for me, I'd almost have to go with Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball.
Donnie Baseball. Yeah. It's a good one.
Cardone?
So, you might think immediately I would go with Eli, but he came into my head. But it's funny, as soon as I didn't know this question was coming. So as soon as you asked it, Scott, I did go right to. I'll just say I went right to Jeter. I just went right to. So I was thinking the Yankees too, mostly because of just the way the guy carried. Just everything about Derek Jeter on and off the field was. The guy was. He was El Capitan, right? I mean, he's a Yankee captain, as was Mattingly, right? He was captain during his career. So for me, when I think of like Yankee through and through, Mattingly's right there, yeah. But I thought my answer would be Jeter because he was the first guy that popped in my head.
It's a good one.
Just for everything we know his career. Everything the guy did was for the Yankees was just awesome.
And I think from my standpoint, Jeter might have been, or Eli might have been one of those guys had I been younger. But as you get older, like your heroes tend to be the people you think of when you're younger. That at least from my standpoint. So Novak.
Yeah, that's a really good question because all my teams have sucked my whole life. So it's been very hard to get behind any one person. But I have always been the type of person I never would put the hero as like the most famous or the most recognizable player on the team, even on good or bad teams. So for me, Wayne Corbett was my sort of, even though I was a little older to call him a hero, but like I love the fact that from Hofstra, little guy, tough as nails, just played with heart, like loved everything about being a Jet, which was something that not a lot of guys do. So I would say Wayne Corbett, and then I would also have to throw in there John Starks. Same thing. Was not the best player on the team. Probably wasn't the most talented or close to it, but just was tough, fought, breathed, and lived everything about being a New York Knick. So those are the two types of players that I'm drawn to. So I would have to go with those two.
You mentioned Starks, and earlier Mike mentioned Lynn. And there's one Knick to me that just had a magical run for me as a fan. But he wasn't a hero of mine, but it was Bernard King.
Yes,
like
I knew you were going to say that.
He was one of those underrated Knicks that just would throw in points like you couldn't believe. He always had the taped up fingers. The Bernard King, it was like almost like a kind of magic you can't explain to other people if you didn't live in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mikey.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, if you ask me this question differently, my favorite athlete of all time, it's Eli Manning, and there's nothing really even close to that. But hero, right? So you think of, like you guys mentioned, like a kid growing up. So I kind of thought back and like, okay, when I was just growing up, like who were the guys? And I think I have to pick one. So I'm going to pick Mark Jackson because he played for St. John's and then the Knicks. So, I cheered for him for a long time. And I just thought he couldn't do anything wrong. A lot of my Knick fan friends back then were like, he turns the ball over too much. I'd always hang in there with Mark Jackson. But, I thought about, like, believe it or not, the first name that came to my head was Clark Gillies. I love that guy so much. Oh my God. When I was like 9 years old or 10 years old, I thought that guy was awesome. And Willie Stargell and Dave Parker, came to my mind. And, probably, growing up, of course, I loved LT, I loved Sims, but it's hard now to say LT's my hero when he's like basically a crackhead. So I'm gonna stay away from that. So I'm gonna stick with Mark Jackson, and of course honorable mention to Patrick Ewing as well.
Yeah, Ewing.
Patrick Ewing I would embarrass myself to be a fan of Patrick. So big pasty white guy with my 33 Knicks jersey on playing ball. Didn't care. Let's do it.
Ewing, if Ewing hadn't played for Georgetown, I might have chose him. I mean, I almost looked at Syracuse guys. I mean, back then, Syracuse basketball, when I was a kid, it was not necessarily even Pearl, but I mean, even prior to that, you had guys, it was, you had, well,
Leo Routens.
you had Leo, but you had guys like Louis and Bowie. You had Louis Orr. You had Roosevelt
Louis Orr.
Bowie. You had guys like that growing up, Syracuse basketball in the Big East, we've talked about this in the pod before, just a huge part of our upbringing. So, I mean, it was tough. Ewing became one of my favorite Knicks, but it took a while to shake the whole fact that he was a Georgetown guy off.
It didn't take me long at all. Like the minute the draft was over, I'm like, Patrick! Hated that guy before that.
So this is a good question, too. So Peacock asks, if we were forced to buy and wear another football jersey that wasn't a Jets or Giants, who would it be? So Mike might know this because I used to show up and play flag football in this, but I had a Junior Seau jersey before. I don't know how I got it, or
55. I remember you used to wear that a lot.
I used to wear the Seau jersey. I actually liked the Seau jersey. It was one of those where I think I got it from like as a gift, and I was like, well, I'm not a Charger fan, but Junior Seau, you could do worse. And I would never pick a division rival. But if I had to pick someone, like nowadays, I would probably pick a random person like, because my kids went to Clemson, I might pick a Trevor Lawrence jersey, or I might go with like someone even like more obscure, Keenan Allen. Guy's been around forever, wide receiver. I just might pick someone like that. I'm not picking a Panther, not picking a divisional rival, but that might be what I go to. Novak?
I'm actually going to pick a division rival, and only because, again, if I stay true to myself, which I just said about my sports heroes, I loved how they played the game, then I have to say Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a Bills fan, obviously, but I love how he plays the game with heart. He just loves being a Bill. He's everything about that franchise. You would have to break his arm to get him off the field. That's the kind of guy that I like, and I wish to God we had drafted him, but we would have made him stink anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
That's the way I always feel about it.
But you would wear that jersey.
You're making me gun to my head. You're making me pick someone, so yes. So I'm not telling you I'm going to. I'm saying if I had to pick one, I'd go there.
It's a life-threatening situation.
Right.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Cardone.
So, it's funny. I just was having this conversation with Cole the other day, my son Cole, about and I'm not. I'm a 56-year-old man, right? So like I'm not one of these that like, oh, I really like that uniform or this. But I tell you what, one of my favorite uniforms might be a surprise. My favorite uniform in the NFL, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I absolutely love their red on the pewter, I think it's called, whatever. So I would go with their red, like, home jersey later in the season, and I think I would go with Baker Mayfield. I know. I don't like the number 6. We were talking about that earlier, like for Dart, or maybe we were talking about that last week. So I'm not crazy about the number, but as soon as you said that question, I'm like, oh, I'm going to walk around with a Buck jersey on. I just like that. I love their logo, love their colors. I've always loved that uniform. It's my favorite in the NFL by far. And why not? Mayfield's one of those guys that he seems to rub people the wrong way, but the more I got to watch him and through his career, I just found I love his game. Fervor, you guys know how I feel about fervor. The guy brings a ton of it. I would go with Baker. I would walk around. I'd have no problem wearing a Baker Mayfield jersey. Why not?
I hold a grudge about what he said about Daniel Jones. I'd wear Mike Evans if I have to go Buccaneers.
Or I was going to say Evans. Okay, so as a 1A, I was thinking like maybe Evans, but because I just want to wear the Bucs jersey, and I have too much trouble wearing another team's like jersey or whatever. So. But if I had to, I'd probably go the Bucs because of that reason. I love the uniform.
If you give me a modern day Bucs jersey with Derek Brooks on it, I might wear it. But
that's not bad. Or maybe John Lynch or something.
All-Stott.
All-Stott would be a good one. Yeah.
Mikey.
So I was thinking about this from like a classic jersey when you first said it, but then ironically, as you guys got talking and you guys were going newer, I think it's the same jersey. So as a classic jersey, I think I would dig a Fran Tarkington jersey. But I don't know why a Minnesota purple Tarkington would be cool. And then because he went to Michigan, it'd be kind of cool to have a JJ McCarthy jersey today.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
probably Vikings I'd go with.
So Peacock also asks, if we're talking to other Giants and Jets fans, since both of our teams suck, like how do we talk them off the ledge? Where do we find hope this year? Guys, I'm the optimist. You heard that earlier. So as the optimist, what I'm telling people is, look, from a Giant standpoint, we got Dart in the fold. Before Dart comes in, we got Russell, who is going to carry himself well. We're going to look like a competent NFL team this year. We have all the pieces in place as long as our wide receivers don't get hurt. We got it.
I am, from my experience this year particularly, I am not talking anybody off the ledge. They're talking me off the ledge. Or I'm trying to put them out on the ledge. I'm like, you got to relax. We're not going to be that good. Like, you got to stop this optimism. You're
Don't forget,
up.
Yeah, Scott, don't forget, our season was over. And again, I got to quote Greg again because we love this one. Our season was over on a PI call when we had a 3-0 lead in the week 1 of last year's game against the Vikings. And we knew our season was over. That's what we were dealing with. So, but to your point, listen, we have a quarterback. I just had a conversation with a coworker today who's a Giant fan, and we were, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? And it's preseason. We don't, only a couple of games. We don't know, but we have a guy that at least has a chance to be our future quarterback, to finally, come in and get us back to, get us back into the mix. It's not going to be this year. That's fine. It's not supposed to be this year, and I'm not expecting it to be this year. But we need to see at least the signs that we're moving towards a team that is on the, a significant rise. So that's all I'm looking for this year. That's it. So that's for Giant fans. Jet fans, Novak. Shit, man. I don't know, man. Well, it's hard. I'll be honest, dude. It's a little hard for the Jets to say like, oh, well, you got, where do you go? Seriously, where do you go? I don't know.
We've been living on the edge for like 50 years. So, I mean, I think though, what I would say is we can't be worried about the quarterback because he sucks. But we have a new coach we got to get behind. He was one of ours, right? He's a Jet. He wanted to be here. He didn't take this job begrudgingly because it was the only job that he was being offered. And then we went out, which I think it's more symbolic than people realize, of signing Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Guys, we drafted cornerstone franchise type players. When do the Jets ever keep their draft picks? Never. I mean, if you go back 15 years, 2-3 times maybe we have gotten to our draft picks to a second contract. That's how poor this franchise has been. So I think signing those guys, they're basically saying we're going to sign our players. We've got Quinnen Williams. We've got a very good young offensive line. Trust the process. I mean, I hate to say it, but we have no other choice but then to trust this process. And so my hope is that if we suck this year, maybe we fall into a quarterback finally next year with a regime that seems to know what the hell they're doing.
So my friend,
before you go on, I'm sorry, Scott. I wanted to reach back up there to something Cardone had mentioned. You can't tell a lot from preseason, as I mentioned at the beginning. But the one thing I know is this. Anyway, the one thing I think I know from preseason is you blitz Jackson Dart at your own peril.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get him, you're in big trouble. If he escapes running forward, then your defense, they don't know what to do because he can throw the ball at a weird angle, or he can tuck it up and run it, and he's pretty fast. That's something that's been missing from this team for the past decade. Yeah. Is we've not handled the blitz very well. And we've talked about it a lot on this podcast where we said, man, if this is going to be Jones's year, then early on in the year when teams blitz us, we got to beat it. And we've never been able to do that. So that's the promising thing to me, not just the yards and the numbers and the touchdown passes, but the way he keeps his head in the game is very encouraging to see. even if it's preseason, because you're always going to face a rush. Your line can't block for you sometimes, and so just
and I actually hope that it becomes a pet peeve of mine, because that is a pet peeve when a quarterback, does something and they talk about his arm angle being in a certain way. I hope they start doing that with Dart. It's like, yes,
arm angle. We got a guy who's got arm angle.
So my friend Mike asks, and this is for Novak, is Cutlets a better quarterback than Fields? And you sort of touched upon this earlier. Would you want the Jets to sign him?
Yes. I mean, very simply, yes. Because
you want to think about it for a second, or
no? I mean, DeVito at least has been able to show that he can complete a pass. He took a very terrible offense and won a few games. Justin Fields has had players around him in Pittsburgh, and he still stunk there. I have no confidence whatsoever in Justin Fields. None, zero, zip, zilch. So I'll take almost anybody over him, and I'm gonna be damn right about this with all my Jet idiot friends that have been screaming positivity about this guy. Get out of here.
You're gonna be right on that. Yeah, and the answer to that for Novak is, of course, right? One of them's a quarterback.
Right.
The other, I mean, there's only one of them that can actually
That's a better answer.
Throw the ball.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Mike also asks, just going on preseason, have the Giants had a better first-round draft than Tennessee, Cleveland, and Duval? And look, just going on preseason tells you nothing. Our guys look good. I mean, you have Dart looks good. I mean, there's a lot there going on, but I don't think you can really tell anything from a draft until 3 years are out. So for us to say that right now it looks better, it might. I don't know if that translates to anything, tangible.
One thing I wanted to bring up, and maybe preseason I haven't watched or paid attention that closely. I have not heard Cam Ward's name mentioned anywhere.
No.
What is going on there? He was
really
picked first,
either.
right? I mean, I remember that, right? Am I doing that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard this guy's name. Haven't seen a highlight. Nothing.
Well, that's because he's in that division where they all play each other 15 times a year. So
that AFC South, which is invisible.
All we've heard on that division is the Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson thing. No one cares about those teams.
No, it's crazy. I have not heard the guy's name. Anyone else? I'm asking.
Oh,
no, I have not heard
a
word.
No.
I think I brought that up in the last pod that Cam Ward has been invisible.
Okay.
Like you just haven't seen anything much with him.
Nope.
You've heard more from Sanders, a 5th round pick.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, to answer the question, I think he's fishing for a compliment here, and he's going to get it because, I mean, if you look, the other teams he wanted to compare us to were the Titans, the Jaguars, and the Browns, right?
Browns.
So yeah. So if you just compare first round of the draft, we've not heard anything from Cam Ward. We've not heard very little from Travis Hunter, and I've heard nothing from Mason Graham, who I personally love, being from Michigan. But the Giants in the first round have Abdul Carter and probably the rookie star of the preseason, Jackson Dart. So, yes, we do look like we did a better job there.
Yeah. Well, I think Abdul Carter might have an impact like LT did. That might be something we still have not talked about Abdul Carter that much, but I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it until he plays.
I think in that first preseason game, the defensive coordinator and Dable saw his first 8 snaps, and they were like, "Get him off the field, wrap him in bubble wrap, get him off the field, and we're good to go there." But you gotta love Scott. We're winning 10 games going to the playoffs, and we just drafted LT. If you're Scott, listen to him.
We didn't draft LT. We drafted a guy like LT.
I love this optimism.
So awesome. We have I like this question too, and I'm going to kick this off with Cardone. So among demonstrative players, it really doesn't have to be demonstrative. I just love that word. Demonstrative players and coaches, whose act is wearing the most thin around the league, and who would you be happy to not see?
Oh man, that's a good one. If I had to, let's see, who's probably. Oh man, maybe like it's not even an act, just like right now because of all the drama. I mean, Micah Parsons, that like maybe just because he plays for the Cowboys. I mean, can I go owner? Can I go Jones? Can I just? Does it have to be?
You probably could go owner. Yeah.
I mean, if I might as well just go all the way up to the top. Maybe like Jerry Jones, maybe. Can I just go there? For this question and just say the guy. That's it. I'm like that his act. We talked about it earlier, so it's I'm beating a dead horse here, but everything about the Dallas Cowboy franchise brand, if you will, all of it. It's enough. I just want it to go away. I want Jones and everything to go away. I keep seeing Micah Parsons' name come up, so that's why my mind just went to him for no better reason other than he wears a fucking star and that everything with that franchise. So, but really, if I had to go all the way up, it's probably Jerry Jones.
That's a good one.
Novak.
For me, this is pretty simple. Just be done with this guy. Just retire and move on. Travis Kelce. I can't take another year of this and the Taylor Swift thing. Like, we've beaten this thing to death. Like, just be done with it already. So if the question is, what are you most tired of? It's that story.
I'll go next. I'm tired, and we talked about him ad nauseum on the pod. The Dick.
Yeah.
The Dick, if this is his last year, let it be his last year. But let's not give him a going away party. Let's just it's his last year. Let's
go away.
Let him ride off into the sunset with the Steelers, and that's it.
Yeah.
Mikey.
I'm just gonna go to an old whooping dog of ours here, Nick Sirianni. Get it.
Oh yeah.
Get it out of here. Get it out of here. That is 4 good answers to that question. If we could get rid of those 4 people out of the NFL, holy shit.
So, favorite movie. First off, have any of you guys seen the greatest beer run ever?
No, I don't think.
I believe I've seen that.
The greatest beer run.
The greatest beer run ever. It's a movie apparently. I never saw it, so. That was his last question. I didn't think since I never saw it, I didn't think anyone else did, but I wasn't positive. But he asks, and this is a good one, favorite movie about Vietnam. So from me, if you could take the beginning of Full Metal Jacket,
I was just going to say,
and combine it with, let's say, Platoon, those would be 2 great movies. Full Metal Jacket, once the second half started, I wasn't great with. But if you could take those 2, I'd be perfect with it. Yeah, Cardone, you were talking about that?
That was the first one to enter. As soon as you, again, immediately my brain went to Full Metal Jacket. That captured, I think, what, was just good Hollywood, a good Hollywood version, of the Vietnam War, I think. So great characters. That was an awesome movie. That movie doesn't get talked about that much in terms of great, war movies. I think it's how old's that movie now? Wasn't that in the late 80s maybe? I think it was.
80s.
I think it was 87, 88. I think it was.
It was exactly then because it was my wife and I's first date. It was
Is that right?
It was
You took her to Full
1987.
Metal. That's romantic.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have the Metroplex back then. And
Yeah.
You just go to the theater and whatever's playing, you go in and watch.
Hey, it worked, Mike.
Yeah, obviously.
So. Yeah.
You guys bonded over Pile or Gomer Pile.
Yeah. Yeah, those scenes were not uncomfortable at all for a first date. Promise.
Great stuff, man.
Mikey.
I love Full Metal Jacket, obviously for very obvious reasons, but I also Apocalypse Now was a great movie.
I'm gonna go with Platoon. I love Full Metal Jacket as well, but Platoon was one of my favorite movies of all time.
Great.
All good.
Wait, does Rambo count?
Which Rambo? I love the Rambo where he's just wandering around the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, one of the newer ones?
No, was that the first one where he's wandering around? And
that's First Blood. Yeah.
First Blood's great.
where they just pick him up at the edge of town and drive him to the other edge of town and say bye. Yeah, it's a great movie.
You guys got anything else tonight?
Just
Show
break
up to the
season.
live pod. Show up
There's
to the
nothing
live
else.
pod.
I was gonna say Life Pod tomorrow or next week, next Tuesday. Carolina Beer Temple. We're looking forward to it. We'll give our Super Bowl predictions, which we didn't give tonight. Guys, it should be a lot of fun. Should be
great.
a lot of fun.
Looking forward to it.
Just come on out and see it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun time, good times. Come on out.
If there's
Ready for
nothing
the
else,
football season.
I was gonna say if there's nothing else, college football starts this week. Other than that, we got 2 weeks. NFL.
Full Nears.
Let's go. Go
Let's go,
Giants.
everybody.